City Plate Podcast, presented by the Amble Bites Food Tour. The Port City Plate Podcast, serving up the food, history, and people of Mobile, Alabama for people who love the Port City. I am your host, Chris Andrews. The Port City Plate Podcast is sponsored by Table Needs. Yes, we got a sponsor. Table Needs is our sponsor, and super excited to have them on board and on board with the podcast. Table Needs is a point-of-sale system for small restaurants, coffee shops, food trucks. They're doing things, not just transactions, helping these small businesses thrive. Going to definitely tell you more about them later. But super excited about this episode of the podcast. And this is kind of a 2023 recap, year in review, talk about some new restaurants that are coming. We've had some farewells to some of our favorite restaurants in Mobile in 2023, especially here ending the year on some rough news. And then I've also got a very special interview later in the show for our Meet and Three segment of the podcast. I've got my kids coming on here. We're going to talk about some of our favorite restaurants that we like to visit while we're, going out. My kids are probably a little bit different than most kids. Of course we do Chick-fil-A and stuff, but their dad has to do a lot of eating out. So they go to more sit down restaurants probably than most kids do. So I'm excited to get into that. But we'll go ahead and start, on some positive news. So we had a lot of really good new restaurants come to Mobile in 2023. I think specifically Ginger and Spice comes to mind first. Downtown Mobile, Ginger and Spice. We had Shamira Sylvester on the podcast earlier in the year, and man, what she's doing, her story is incredible. Growing up here in Mobile, and just kind of, just like everybody else, like I said, she ate food from the dollar store, and that was just kind of, her way of life growing up. And she moved off to Washington, D.C., and kind of got enlightened a little bit when it came to food, and especially when it came to eating healthy. And she's brought that back to Mobile, and she's really doing some good things. And so I'm excited for her. I'm excited to see her grow there in that spot right there by the A&M Peanut Shop. You want to definitely go check her out. I think she's going to be doing big things here in Mobile. So excited to have her. Certainly Box Out is another one downtown that welcomed in 2023, and kind of a long awaited. That one's been in the works for a couple of years now, and so that's been a great one. The Mac and Cheesery, that's one of my favorite places in there. And what Stu, he's got a radio show on FM Talk 106.5. Y'all need to check it out on Sunday mornings or catch the podcast for that. They talk a lot of food as well. So he's very knowledgeable about the food scene here in Mobile too. But they've got some good stuff there. But speaking of food hall, the Insider Food Hall gained a new spot. La Catrinas de Rosie taking over the spot there that PS Taco vacated, and man, that's been really a highlight for the Insider Food Hall. I think one of the biggest things that to me that happened in 2023, we lost. We lost Old Majestic, which, like I said, we'll talk about some of the things we lost later on in the podcast. But we lost Old Majestic, but gaining Wingman Brewing right there in their spot, that is big time. Having Fairhope Brewing, which has just kind of been, for many years, kind of been the staple brewery of South Alabama. Having them in the Mobile market, with some of the experimental beers that they've got. And, of course, the Fairhope Blue Steel is just, that thing has just gone crazy. So, having that space as Wingman Brewing and an arm of Fairhope Brewing, that's big for our beer scene. That's really big, especially when we lost Old Majestic and, we were kind of down to 3 breweries there for a short period of time. The city the size of Mobile, we've got to have 4 breweries, and so Wingman Brewing and the team from Fairhope Brewing, they're definitely doing some good things there. So that's good news. The one that everybody kind of talks to me about, new restaurants, like you got to get out there, and I've got to get out there soon. Coach Brown's Barbecue out there, West Mobile, Dawes Road. My buddy Lee, he goes out. He's been out there quite a few times, and he's been sending me some pictures and kind of teasing me with it. Coach Brown, a lot of people know him here in the Mobile area. Got to get out there to Johnson Road and Dawes Road out there where Coach Brown's Barbecue is. Wednesday through Saturday, they're smoking up some good barbecue out there. And speaking of, Velvet Pig is another one that we gained here in 2023, and that's really a new spot and kind of flying under the radar. I feel like they're attached right there at the Icebox Bar on Monroe Street, right there at Canal Street and Monroe Street. Icebox is one of the coolest places in Mobile. I love going in there. Love the history that is associated with that building, and so I'm really, really excited that they've got some really good dishes going on there at the Velvet Pig, and each week that they're showcasing. So that's turning into a really, really cool spot when you can have some cool drinks, have a cool atmosphere right there at Icebox, and eat some really, really good food while you're there. That's big time for our food scene. Going over the Eastern Shore, man, the Eastern Shore exploded this year. Of course, Panini Pete had a couple of new restaurants with the reopening of AS Seafood Shed, Spanish Fort, the Waterfront when they opened up in 2023. And man, Waterfront that's such an awesome place. Really, really cool spot. You got to go check it out. It's right there in Daphne, the old Lake Forest Yacht Club. So just, coming right off the interstate, right there to the right, great views overlooking Mobile Bay. And it's just a cool spot. One of the best bushwhackers I've had in this area too. So make sure you get that. Raises, I'd say that's got to be, if we're talking about the new restaurants in 2023 in South Alabama, I think the number one spot is probably going to have to go to Raises. What the Raises was the chef at Chuck's Fish, sushi chef there for a long time, and he has really, really made a name for himself with his restaurant in Daphne. That one's going to be a little bit closer to the Malbus area of Baldwin County. So if you're familiar with that area, it's right off Highway 90, right there, kind of close to the Malbus intersection of Highway 90 and 181. So got to get out there, support him. Well, just a great guy too. I mean, I think that's you just love seeing good people be successful, and certainly that's what's going on there at Raises. Some of the best sushi certainly in South Alabama. Fairhope had a huge year. There's a place down there that called Nini Squares, little pizza place, in a cool little old house, and right there downtown Fairhope. Highly recommend that for families. We're gonna talk about family friendly restaurants later on in the show, and Nini Squares, man, that is definitely a huge family friendly spot. Take the kids, get a slice of pizza, get some pasta. Sit outside. They got a little play area. The whole yard is fenced in. So, man, hey, let the kids run around. Hey, get up Fairhope Blue Steel while you're there. That's a really, really cool spot. Sebastian's is more of a fine dining French restaurant atmosphere. That one's going to be right there on Highway 98 as you're getting into Fairhope. Right there at Fairhope Avenue and Highway 98 in the old Ruby Tuesdays. That's a new spot. Provision on the Fly. So Provision, kind of known for their coffee and their wine. They're in downtown Fairhope. Open up a little coffee shop on Highway 98. So if you're heading out of Fairhope or you're coming in, certainly Provision's got one of the best cups of coffee you'll have. Got to check out Provision on the Fly. Our Bistro, the return of Our Bistro. They're not a new restaurant to Fairhope by any means. But a couple of years ago, I think 2021, they closed down, and owners kind of moved away. Well, one of the owners came back, and they've been operating out of the Piggly Wiggly in Fairhope for a while, and now they have decided to open back up a restaurant. It's not in downtown Fairhope. It's going to be off Scenic 98. So I need to get out there and check it out and report back on that for sure, because Our Bistro, man, love Our Bistro. Crawfish gravy, gotta have it. It's good stuff. They always had great desserts too. So certainly need to check that out. But that's just kind of a quick rundown of a lot of the new restaurants we've seen here in 2023 in the area. But man, we lost a lot of good restaurants this year too. We lost some really, really solid restaurants, and that's certainly what's kind of heavy on everybody right now. And 2022 was kind of a rough year for us. We lost Bailey's Restaurant, one of the oldest restaurants in Mobile, in the Mobile area. And this year, we saw some really, really big name restaurants close here in Mobile. Unfortunately, Osman's, they're shutting the doors on Christmas Eve. Be their last day in operation. Osman's, they've been around since the year 2000. So they had 24 years here in Mobile, and man, you think of how many Mobilians have had an anniversary or a special occasion dinner at Osman's, and that's just one of the best meals you'll have there at Osman's, and so that they will certainly be missed, and even if somebody does buy the building, buy the restaurant, and buy the the menu and everything, it's going to be tough to replace Osman's. That was definitely that's a big loss for our food scene, no doubt about it. And then the two most recent, again, we had just this week announced that 5 and El Papi will be closing. So just huge. I mean, that one hurts my gut real hard. Love 5, love the Uptown chicken and the bread pudding, penne chicken. Love the $5 cheeseburgers on Wednesdays. That's El Papi. That's another big one. I loved El Papi, and certainly the best margarita in downtown Mobile came from El Papi, and just hate it for the staff that's working there, and about 30 employees that are going to be looking for a job, and you really hate it for our food scene too. You hate it for our downtown area. That's 2 buildings right there in a prime location. You think the walk now from Wenzel's down to Moe's is just full of abandoned buildings, and so that's certainly not the direction that we really hope to be heading here in downtown Mobile. But I've heard some rumblings about some other restaurants that are out there, kind of looking at that space right now, and it's a tough time though. It's a tough time for everybody involved, whether you're the landlord or the business owner, the restaurant. Man, it is. So you hate that, and we certainly hate to lose really, really good restaurants. Again, right up Dolphin, we lost SOCU this year. 2023 was SOCU was a man, when they opened in 2019. They opened up to a lot of fanfare, and Chef Erica Barrett was had a really big, strong name, and man, she was really, really involved in the restaurant, and it was strong. It was when SOCU first opened, I can remember that was one of the best meals I had ever had in Mobile, and what she was doing, I thought she'd be around for a long time, and made it through COVID, came back out of COVID, and again, they were strong. I don't know. She had some other, just kind of I'll throw out my opinion on kind of what happened with SOCU. Don't know this for any kind of certain fact or anything, but it just kind of seemed like whenever the last couple of years, she had some other business dealings away from Mobile, and trying to do some things in Atlanta and Birmingham, and it just kind of seemed like she kind of lost touch here in Mobile, and you didn't see her in the restaurant as much, or didn't see her social media presence as much here in Mobile, and so I think she kind of lost touch with the restaurant. I think she kind of lost touch with the people here in Mobile, and I don't think it was. I'll just say it. I don't think the restaurant was managed well there toward the end of the tenure here in Mobile. So when a restaurant is not operating on all cylinders, it's tough. And so, I like I said, that was one of the best atmospheres and restaurants. Certainly, when the first couple of years that SOCU was opened, it was really, really good. So again, hate to lose that. We lost the Coma Bistro was another one there in downtown Mobile that opened and closed their doors this year. Again, I'll throw my opinion on that. I think they were probably just. I think the concept just didn't resonate very well with Mobilians, in my opinion. Kind of the CBD infused things. I think it just kind of confused people, honestly. I don't think that a large majority of Mobilians really know what that is. Are you putting CBD in our food, or what is that? So I think just kind of the messaging there, just kind of, I don't think that resonated with a lot of Mobilians, and that's just my opinion on that. The last thing that we lost, but not really, was the Yellowhammer coffee truck. They just announced that the Yellowhammer coffee trailer would cease after I think 6 years of having the coffee trailer. That's kind of how they got started. So Jeff Roberts, our first ever guest on the Port City Plate podcast. He he's doing so many good things. I can't believe they have 7 brick and mortar locations. 7. That's just insane to think about when you think that these guys, Jeff and his wife, started serving coffee out of a coffee truck, out of a food truck on the 4th of July weekend out in Sims, and kind of took that thing around, and just, man, the following that he has made over coffee, that it's incredible. It's insane. And now, again, like I said, 7 brick and mortar locations in the Mobile area. Man, great job, Jeff. Hate to lose the trailer just because of kind of nostalgia, for a lot of us who probably had Yellowhammer for the first time out of that trailer. A lot of people chasing down that trailer. You'd kind of look on social media and see where that thing was going to be throughout the week, and kind of plan your week around where kind of your travels around where that trailer was going to be. So hate that, but then again, like I said, just so happy for Jeff and what he's doing. A couple of highlights for me personally this year. Thinking about some culinary highlights, some of the best meals that I had this year. Certainly here recently, I posted about Bama Bob's Barbecue down on Dolphin Island Parkway. Man, it's fantastic. You got to get down to Dolphin Island Parkway. Check out Bama Bob's. Like when you walk in, man, you've got the trophies right there on the shelf when you walk in to prove that it's not just my opinion or somebody else's or the reviews that are great. Hey, he's got the awards to prove how good that barbecue is. So get that spicy collards too for the side. You don't want to miss that. It's a good one. Hummingbird Way might be the best. I think that was the best overall experience I've had all year, was from Hummingbird Way. And Chef Jim Smith came on the podcast, and man, he really opened my eyes this year when he came on to the episode and talking about just all the local, and of course you expect local seafood and you expect local meat, when you're eating at a restaurant like the Hummingbird Way, but you don't really expect every single ingredient that goes into a meal to be locally made or homemade, handmade like he does. And so that was what really just kind of opened my eyes, that it's not just the freshness of the seafood that you'll get there. It's every single little thing that he touches is homemade, handmade. And so just that freshness, man, you can taste it. And again, the atmosphere there at the Hummingbird Way, fantastic. Gotta love it. And Sheep's Head Eats, my buddy Rob Varner had a fine dinner for some friends of ours, Drew and Julie, and my wife Lainey. And man, we absolutely loved getting to know Rob. He made a fantastic meal for us. Still thinking about that king cake bread pudding, which was so dang good there at the end. And man, what he's doing is awesome. I can't wait to continue to see what he's going to do. He of course probably got his fame from the famous 504 pizza from O'Daly's, and when he was the chef there for a little while, and now kind of branched out on his own and doing private events. And hey, if you've got a party that you need a chef at, you got to call Chef Rob, Sheep's Head Eats. So good. Another one that I'm thinking about this year, Dropout Bakery. I went to Dropout Bakery so many times. We had Lacey on the podcast this year too, and Golly, you just go in there and you see the assortment of goods that she has baked, and it's a little overwhelming, but whatever you get, I promise you, it will be the best thing that you've had. Those Pop Tarts, unreal. The croissants. I'm not a croissant connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination, but man, they're phenomenal. So anything that you get at Dropout Bakery is good. Market by the Bay. That's another one of my favorites this year. When we had Mike Sullivan on earlier on the podcast, got me out to Market by the Bay. Got me out there for that gumbo. That gumbo is certainly right up there, best gumbos in the area. And you never know what's going to be on the menu. Of course, the desserts, fantastic. So everything that I've had at Market by the Bay has been top notch. Big shout out to Wade over at Slurp Society too. They're doing some good things and keeping it rocking over there. Across the bay, I'll talk about the biggest highlight for me over in Fairhope is Fairhope Chocolate. And I've gotten to know Chef Jewel over there at Fairhope Chocolate over the last couple of months, and I'm telling you, she is an absolute treasure to this area. If you're in Fairhope, do not leave Fairhope without making a trip to Fairhope Chocolate. And again, it's one of those places, kind of like Lacey at Dropout, just get something. It doesn't matter what you get, it will be the best thing you've had. And she puts time and love into everything that she makes. All the chocolate is handmade right there in her kitchen. The only thing that's probably not handmade in her kitchen are the Belgian chocolates that she serves, the Newhouse chocolate, and it's only one of 5 places in the entire United States you can get this chocolate. So it's I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. Just go in there and get something. You will not be disappointed. When I'm kind of out and about talking to people, talking to people about where they've been eating at and what you've been enjoying. Some of the ones that has been popular to a lot of people that I've talked to, certainly Knucklebones. Knucklebones Coffee has been a big one that people have been talking about, and everybody just loves the atmosphere at Knucklebones. So that's certainly been a big one. I think the most talked about on this podcast when I ask people about where they've been eating at or where some of their favorite restaurants are. Noja always comes up, and Noble South. And so, of course, it goes without saying. I don't have to tell you how good those places are. They've got all the accolades to prove it. Hammered Cow, my buddy Adam over there at Hammered Cow. Hey, it's one of the best burgers in Mobile. That smash burger, there's no doubt about it. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. Adam's he's racking up the accolades himself now. So got to get out to the Insider Food Hall. Check out when you go to the Hammered Cow. It's got to be your first stop on the on your trip when you go to the Insider Food Hall. Front Yard Tacos, and then Raises over in Daphne again, like I talked about earlier. Those are a couple more that when I'm talking to people that's some of the ones that get brought up more than others. I'll just say that. I think the biggest highlight of the year, though, thinking about Mobile and our food scene in 2023. Was when Guy Fieri came to Mobile and highlighted 6 places here in the Mobile area, 5 restaurants in Mobile on the show, and Panini Pete and Guy Fieri have formed a pretty good friendship over the years. It started when Guy Fieri approached his staff approached Panini Pete, back when he was just in Fairhope over about 10 years, over 10 years ago now, and they kind of formed that friendship. Of course, if you've met Panini Pete and you've watched Guy Fieri, you realize that the two of them have very similar personalities. Big personalities, really outgoing people, and we're just one of those people that you just want to be. You're attracted to. You want to be around people with that kind of energy and those good vibes. So love seeing their friendship, and I'm so excited that Pete was able to convince Guy that, hey, you need to film some more restaurants here in Mobile, and he did. The first stop was the Noble South, and crawfish etouffee. Certainly that's one of the best dishes that you'll have. Got him over to Southwood Kitchen in Daphne. yeah, again, one of the best restaurants in South Alabama. No doubt about it. Southwood Kitchen, Chef Jeremiah over there. That's another new restaurant. I guess we could throw that one into the 2023 category in Fairhope. The Ben's Barbecue. Ben's Barbecue is officially back open. They made it, the last week of the year. So hey, you got to get over to Ben's Barbecue. The chef, like I said, Chef Jeremiah from Southwood Kitchen. Is the owner chef there at Ben's Barbecue, which was a long-time staple there in Fairhope. I'm super excited. One of my tour guides over in Fairhope, Jennifer, was there on the first day, and so she had the burger. Said it was one of the best burgers she ever had. And again, that's what I kind of was telling her, that back in the day when I ate at Ben's, I don't remember the barbecue being the best barbecue I ever had, but it was some of the other things on the menu, like the burger and some of the potatoes, baked potatoes, and things like that that really stood out on the menu back in the day. So I'm sure, like I said, if Chef Jeremiah has got his hand on it, I don't have any doubt it's going to be one of the best restaurants in Fairhope. So it was pretty exciting, though. Like I said, Guy Fieri, again, Roosters. He made a stop at Roosters in downtown Mobile. Got the surf and turf taco burrito. That's one of the best. That's one of the best dishes in Mobile. That surf and turf burrito. Hummingbird Way. You talked about Chef Jim Smith. All the great things there. We talked about front yard tacos. You can't beat front yard tacos. You just can't. If I'm ever having a bad day, bad morning, starting the day off, that's where I'm going. Going to front yard tacos. I'm getting a steak and eggs. That's what I'm doing, because that will immediately get me into a better mood. And if I need some energy and need some protein to start my day, that's where I'm going. I'm going to front yard tacos. I'm going to start the day off with that steak and eggs. Can't beat it. And then his other stop that Guy Fieri made here was Meatballs. So definitely getting the shout out there to our barbecue scene and to Meatballs. So that was a really exciting that Guy Fieri again came to Mobile, came to our area and featured 5 restaurants in Mobile, 1 in Daphne, and kind of what I was telling. I kind of lost track earlier talking about Panini Pete, but he'll tell you that Guy Fieri that his episode on diners, drive-ins, and dives completely changed to the course of his life and completely could change the trajectory of his restaurant business. He told me that on this podcast. Go back and listen to that one. That was about a year ago. He came on the podcast, and it's really, really incredible. So I'm hoping that these restaurants have the same exact effect. I hope that it just grows the food scene here in Mobile. I hope that more and more people visit Mobile as a dining destination. That's kind of really the mission of what we're doing with Bienville Bites Food Tour is, we want to, it's not just about me or us, our tour guides and the restaurants. I mean, it is, but man, really our big overarching goal is we want to see Mobile's food scene thrive and become an international dining destination. And I think we can do that with, like I said, with the food tours, but then these things like this, where with Guy Fieri coming to Mobile and featuring 5 restaurants on his show that millions of people watch, those are the kind of things that make Mobile a dining destination. So super excited about that. I think the place I visited the most this year, kind of kept going back and calculating all my meals and that tab. I honestly started doing it, and I got to March and I was just burned out. I think I kind of burned myself out a little bit, and I was like, man, I think I may eat out too much. So, but I'm gonna keep doing it. So I didn't finish calculating all of the places that I went to this year, but I don't have any doubt it's probably Squid Ink. I go there pretty often. Of course, I work downtown a lot, so always popping in Squid Ink and talking to Jamie and the awesome staff they got there. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why. I love the people that work there, and of course the burgers, can't beat it. The sandwiches. Going there, I got the Mobtown hot chicken sandwich today, actually. That's what I had for lunch. Added the brie cheese. Do that every now and then as a little treat. Add that brie cheese to that Mobtown hot chicken, and that is a game changer, I'm telling you. So, but just the appetizers, the Mobtown hot chicken bites, and the bows. I just, like I said, anything. You can go there so many times, get something different every time. That was probably the place I visited the most, so I wanted to give them a shout out. I think I'm thinking about, I'm not doing like an award, I'm not doing the Nappy Awards or anything here, but I think the comeback restaurant of the year. I mean, I think that it certainly deserves a shout out. And we had Michelle Pullman on, the Michelle Pullman Hall, a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. And Pullman's, they have got to be the comeback story of the year, I think, in 2022. I mean, look, Pullman's, they were left for dead. They were, talking about closing, and they had the insect infestation that, and just things like that will completely ruin your reputation as a business owner. And they closed the restaurant. They closed they closed the shop that they had in Spring Hill. They closed the one downtown. And so they were just left there, like I said, with the old original there on Broad and Virginia Street. And again, like I said, it was just one of those things where the owners were longtime family, and you just kind of got tired of operating the restaurant, it seemed, and kind of let it go. But they sold it. They sold it to a new owner. They kept the family, working there, like Michelle, and some of the people that were very instrumental. Have a health score of a 99 after the bad publicity that they had, and I think so many people don't even know that they're still open. That you only read a lot of the articles that go viral about this place is closing, and that's all you ever see. You don't ever see the ones that talk about the restaurant reopening, and you certainly don't ever see. Certainly, it's never going to go viral that a place that had an insect infestation, it has a 99 health rating now. But man, my hat's off to them at Pullman's. That takes a lot of hard work. They've put a lot into it. They put a lot of heart and soul into it. And look, the Petit Fours and the chocolate dough bash cake at Pullman's is just iconic. Those po' boys are iconic to Mobile. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to Pullman's again. Like I said, that's got to be the comeback story of the year here in Mobile. But that's, like I said, that's just kind of an overview of a lot of the new restaurants that we've got here in 2023. Got some new ones in 2024 too that I'm excited that we're going to be talking about those in the next couple of episodes. But again, certainly sad right now. We're sad. We lost losing Osmonds and 5 and El Papi. Here just in talking about just this week here at the end of 2023, so that hurts a lot, but I'm excited. We got the next segment of the podcast coming up, but at the Meet and 3 segment, we're gonna keep doing it. It's just me kind of solo here today, but I want to tell you about our sponsor, Table Needs. And you gotta, if you're a small restaurant, coffee shop, food truck, you know how important having a POS system is. Now, some of you people may be thinking, what is a POS system? Now, if you're in the restaurant business, you're not thinking that, because you know exactly how important having a strong POS system is, and that's a point of sale. So, for those of you who may not be as familiar, the point of sale system, that's the software that you see when you're checking out at one of these food trucks, like thinking about Yellowhammer. When we were talking about Yellowhammer, when you purchase that cup of coffee with your debit card, that's going through a point of sale system, and so these restaurants, it's very hard to find a good POS system for them to operate, and Table Needs is a local company here that's really just changing how all this looks, and they've got these beautiful online menus that they create. A lot of them are QR code menus, so they're easy to function. Using a lot of really smooth looking, nice technology that's easy to navigate, and I think that's a huge deal, especially when most people are doing this from their phone. We're not we don't need a big menu that is not easy to look at on our phone. It's got to be mobile friendly, so they're doing that. The kitchen display system that they use, when you order it, it goes right back to the kitchen for them to be able to process that food and get that, especially when you're in a food truck, small restaurant, coffee shop. Those every second counts for sure there. And but I think what's really cool, talking to some of the Table Needs guys, that is their customer support too. 24/7. They talk. You can text, you can call. And email their support staff if you ever have any kind of issue. That's got to be the game changer right there. Is the fact that they're available for you anytime if you need support. You're just not going to get that with some of these other POS systems that you're going to use. And so go check them out. Go check it. Schedule a demo with them. Also, I'm going to attach in this episode. You'll see it below. It's the ultimate guide to creating a profitable menu. And so again, we talked about that on the last episode, but it's more than just listing items and price. Got to have a successful menu and a profitable menu. I mean, how important is that? Especially like we talked about, business is tough right now, and so every dollar counts. And so Table Needs is there. They're just a incredible resource, and super excited that they're sponsoring this episode of the podcast. So for all my small restaurant owners, business owners, food trucks, coffee shops, do me a favor. Go click on the guide to creating a profitable menu, and consider Table Needs for your POS system. All right, we're back with our next segment of the podcast, and this is Meat and Three. And today I've got a very special guest. I think the most special guest that I've ever had on the Port City Plate podcast. We've got my daughter, Audrey. Audrey Andrews is 11 years old, and she has, I promise you, there is not a kid in Mobile who is as well versed in the restaurant scene as Audrey is. And of course, because we go out to eat a lot, and I make our kids go to places other than McDonald's, and which of course, sometimes we go to McDonald's, but we also go to some really cool restaurants too. So, Audrey, welcome to the Port City Plate podcast.
Hello.
All right, so I've got a few questions for you. I got 3 burning questions, and we need to talk about kid-friendly restaurants in Mobile. So, what are some of your favorite restaurants in Mobile?
Squid Ink, Wenzel's, and Moe's.
Oh yeah, those are some good 3. That's a good 3. So what do you like about Squid Ink?
The cheeseburger and the fries.
Yeah, their burgers are so good at Squid Ink. I love getting burger at Squid Ink. And Moe's. That's I think we probably go to Moe's more than any place, don't we? Moe's Barbecue downtown. Because I know what do you like to get there when you go?
The chicken tenders and mac and cheese.
Yeah, their chicken tenders are legit good.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. They're like Fusakli's good.
Yeah.
And then I know, like, your brother Sawyer, he likes to go there and get the fried shrimp.
Yeah.
Your other brother Carson, he likes to go there and he gets the chicken wings. So there's always something for a good variety there for kids at Moe's. Mm-hmm. That's a good spot to go to. And what about Wenzel's? What do you like about Wenzel's?
The chicken Alfredo.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
That's real good. So dads get the oysters. Moms get the... what do moms go? What do they get when they go? Moms will get like the grilled or the blackened fish, and the kids get the chicken Alfredo. Mm-hmm. That's a good call. I also like Wenzel's because of the dessert on the kids menu, right?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's Cammy's Old Dutch vanilla ice
Yeah,
cream.
you can't beat that. That's where it's at right there.
Yeah.
All right. So my second question for you is, what are some fun restaurant experiences that you can think of that we've had together in Mobile?
When me and you went to Dolphins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've been going to Dolphins for a little while, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think the first time I took you to Dolphins, you were 4 or 5, something like that. You remember that?
Yeah.
And we sit at the corner window. Mm-hmm. Yep. I can't remember what that table number is. It's like table 23 or something like that. I can't remember what the table number is.
Very back.
Yeah, the very back corner where you can get the best view. You got the view of Mobile Bay. You got the view of downtown. So that's a good one. Mm-hmm. What are some other restaurants memories that you have?
When we went to Squid Ink, and then afterwards we skated at the Art Walk.
Yeah. I remember that too. Going, and I think that's one really cool thing that kids love about Squid Ink is the swings outside, right? Yeah. That's always fun. So you can sit outside on the swings. We did that one night, Art Walk, and then you can do the skating around Bienville Square, since you're right there at Bienville Square. Yep. What else?
When we went to Moe's for your birthday, and then they had trivia.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we went on a Monday night, and we didn't even know they were doing trivia, so we walked in, and they started, the girl was setting up for the trivia, and so we ended up staying for a while that night. I think we stayed almost to the end. until we knew we were not going to win. It was kind of a one-man show. I was kind of answering all the questions, and y'all were kind of arguing with me about what was right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is the answer. And y'all would always argue with me. That was fun. Yeah.
Some of the questions I didn't even know the answer to.
Hey, some of the questions I didn't know either. Some of those things, especially when it comes to like movies and TV.
Yeah.
No, I'm terrible at that. Terrible. I can do 90s trivia, and I can do music pretty good, and of course sports. I mean, I can knock out some sports questions. So if there's a sports category, like we're going to get all those right. But TV and movies, no, not good. Not good. All right, my third question for you is what do you think restaurants could do to be more kid friendly?
They could have like board games and like things to interact with.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially if you go somewhere and you have to wait.
Yeah.
And they had some games and stuff that you could play with while you're waiting. What are some places that do have? Can you think of anywhere?
The Insider Food Hall, they have an arcade.
Yes, they do. That's right. Yeah, they got like the Connect Four basketball back there.
And they have Hot Wheels racing.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels racing. Yeah. Insider Food Hall, that's a real good kid-friendly spot. So what do you like at the Insider Food Hall?
I like the chicken from Chicken District and the boba from Poke Bowl.
Yep, that's a good one. The kids love the boba, don't they? Mm-hmm. When I do some field trip groups, it seems like every one of the kids, they go and they get the boba from Poke Bowl. So that's real popular, isn't it, with y'all? You kids. All right, those are good. All right, so before I let you go, we got a bonus question for you.
Okay.
All right, we got to talk about desserts. So, what are some of your favorite desserts in Mobile?
The chocolate cake at Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes out. It's like steaming. It's so good with the hot fudge.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a real good one. What else?
The Old Dutch at Winsel's.
The Old Dutch at Winsel's. Yeah, and you can't talk about desserts in Mobile without talking about the Old Dutch ice cream, right? I mean, that's one of the best places you could ever go and get dessert in Mobile is at Old Dutch. Mm-hmm. I know that's one thing we do a lot. We go to Taco Mama and then walk across the street to Old Dutch, right?
Yeah.
So you could do that. You could go to Butch Cassidy's and walk across the street to Old Dutch. You got the rock and roll sushi. If the kids probably not going for the sushi, but you could go across the street and do that. But yeah, definitely Cammy's Old Dutch. That's definitely one of the most popular kid-friendly desserts in Mobile. Anything else?
Especially when they have the seasonal ones.
Yeah, what's some of your favorite seasonal ones?
The king cake at Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And like the Christmas ones.
The Christmas tree cake.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I know it's getting to be Mardi Gras time, so the king cake will probably be here pretty soon, I would think. And then the moon pie ice cream, you like that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one too. Any other desserts?
The beignets at Squid Ink.
Yeah. You like their beignets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta have the lemon. Mm-hmm. The lemon, that's good. Mm-hmm. Yep. Saturday and Sunday they have the beignets at Squid Ink. So you get those are some good ones. You got to get down there and get those. Mm-hmm. All right, Audrey. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for coming on to the podcast with me. Anything else you want to say before you go?
I don't think so.
Don't think so? All right. School's out, so we got the kids here. We got a little audience full of kids. Everybody just hanging out. So I appreciate you coming on. All right, so we've got another special guest that requested to come on the show today, and his name is Carson. We've got Carson joining the show. He wants to talk about food, and so I've got 3 burning questions for you, Carson. You ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Port City Plate Podcast. This is your first time on the show. You excited?
Yeah.
All right. So my first question for you is, what is your favorite restaurant in Mobile? Moe's Barbecue? What do you like at Moe's?
Their chicken wings.
Yeah, those chicken wings, the dry rub chicken wings. You can't beat those. Those are some of the best wings in Mobile. I love those. Do you like yours plain, or do you like do you like the white sauce on yours? No sauce? No sauce. No sauce on the wings. Just the dry rub chicken wings. You can't beat those. All right, my second question for you is, what's your favorite dessert in Mobile?
Kimmy's Old Dutch.
Cammy's Old Dutch. All right, I love that. What's your favorite flavor when we go to Cammy's Old Dutch?
Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, my third question for you is, what's your favorite place to go sit when we go out to eat at a restaurant? Where do you like to go?
Squid Ink Swings.
Yeah, the squid ink swings. Those are fun, aren't they? You can't beat that. I know everybody I talk to when they walk by Squid Ink and they see those swings, it makes you want to sit in them. I don't know what it is. It's fun, isn't it? All right, Carson. Well, thank you for coming on the Port City Plate podcast. I appreciate y'all listening to the Port City Plate podcast. This has been a fun episode for me, especially at the beginning, just to kind of, again, just get a little something different to get on here and talk about, different food and a lot of the things that's been going on in 2023. I'm optimistic about 2024 for sure here in Mobile. Optimistic certainly about the podcast, and I appreciate y'all listening. It's been a great year. We had some really just epic guests this year, and got plans to keep it going. A lot more stories to tell. If this is your first time listening, certainly go check out some of these podcast episodes and let me know. Give me your feedback. Let me know what you think about it. And again, I hope everybody has a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Look forward to talking to you and hearing from you in 2024.